far too much for her to do on her own. You see that she has like a whole bunch of stuff on that list and only 2 things are crossed off?
Lights.
Mrs. Bell swam over to her neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Calamari.
Calamari.
Well, hello, Mrs. Bell, Mrs. Calamari said. Hello, I was wondering if you would be so kind as to help me set up for the winter celebration, Mrs. Bell said. Well, of course, I am so excited to attend. What can I help you with?
Well, I didn't see the picture. Ooh, an octopus.
Mrs. Bell checked her list. Could you bring a few desserts for the community to eat? Mrs. Bell asked. I would love to, Mrs. Calamari exclaimed. My husband and I will get right on it. And with that, Mrs. Calamari started preparing some yummy desserts for the winter celebration.
Octopus. Ooh.
Next, Mrs. Bell swam over to her friend Lillian's house. Lillian's wife, Sarah, answered the door. Hello, Mrs. Bell. So nice to see you, said Sarah. Hello, Sarah. So good to see you, too. I was wondering if you and Lillian would be willing to help me set up for the winter celebration, Mrs. Bell asked. Oh, of course we will. Just let us know what we need to do, Sarah said with a smile. Could you bring some balloons and streamers? Mrs. Bell asked. Yes, we will bring the balloons and streamers, said Sarah, giving her a little thumbs up with her fin.
I didn't see.
And with that, Mrs. Bell was off again. Both of them. Mrs. Bell looked to her list. There were still many things that were needed for the winter celebration, so she still needed to find more community members. She went to Mr. Craig. He agreed to bring plates, utensils, and napkins.
How many pages does this book have?
I don't know. She went to her friend Lyle. He said he would bring soft drinks and punch. She went to her boss, CF. He said that he would bring string lights to hang around the celebration and for the coral tree.
How many pages does this book have?
I don't know, Cannon. We're just going to read it. She went to her friend Laurel. Laurel said she would bring her stereo and music. Mrs. Bell swam all over town, asking her friends and community members to help, and they all gleefully agreed. Finally, Mrs. Bell had all of the winter celebration tasks covered, all except for one, which she was saving to do herself. She wanted to contribute to the celebration as well, so she made sure to save this one task for her, making the beautiful banner to hang up at the celebration. She had been imagining the beautiful banner all day and could not wait to get started on it.
I wonder what it is.
It's the banner.
Oh.
To hang at the celebration. Oh my goodness. There we go. She hurried home, as she knew she had to get to work and make sure it was finished on time. Once home, she grabbed the beautiful blue banner she had been saving for this celebration. Mrs. Bell grabbed her markers, colored pencils, and paint and began her work. She painted beautiful black letters, snowflakes, and polka dots all across the banner. Finally, she was finished, and it was the most wonderful banner she had ever seen. Mrs. Bell looked at her watch. she said to herself. I have to get going or we will not have enough time to set up. Mrs. Bell hurried out the door, banner in hand, and swam as fast as she could to downtown. When she arrived, everyone she had gone to for help was already there, beginning to set up. She was so happy and thankful for all of her wonderful friends. Mrs. Bell joined right in and began to help set up. After everything was set up, Mrs. Bell remembered, the banner! We still need to hang the banner. One of the community members grabbed a ladder and helped Mrs. Bell up to hang the banner. She climbed back down and looked up at her banner. It looked so good. She then looked around at the rest of the celebration. Everything was perfect, and it was all due to her wonderful community members. She smiled the biggest smile she ever had. The music started, the lights turned on, and everyone began to celebrate. They danced, ate yummy food, and enjoyed their night spent together. Everyone celebrated not only their annual winter celebration, but they also celebrated all of their hard work. The end. All right, this book is called Thank You, Omu. On the corner of the first street I'm going to start that over because that did not go well. Okay. Thank you, Omu. On the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Omu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned and stirred it and took a small taste. What a delicious stew, Omu said. Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had. With that, Omu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block until... Knock! Someone was at the door. When